This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern.
Welcome to 5 Star Weekly, everybody, and it's the international break, and yes, there is a little bit of an interlull between matches for Atlanta United, but there's still a little bit of news, and we will answer your burning questions in the mailbag. But before we get started, this is Mark, I'm AJ, and remember to turn on those notification bells so that you never miss a video. But let's get into the news, and yeah, it's a third kit has pretty much kind of in terms of a launch event has been revealed. Yeah. And there definitely was some color schemes that were attached to that season ticket holder email. That being peach and a little bit of black has people wondering that maroon footy headlines leak may not be actually factual.
I hope not.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that potential being kind of the, what's actually shown?
Right. Referencing the email. Yeah, no, I was very intrigued by that. It's one person who follows me said it reminds me of the Peachtree, the Atlanta Hawks Peachtree kit, which I think is a very cool design.
Which has MLK on it, right?
Right, yeah. And then, and there's the Peachtree one as well, but it's basically the same color scheme, yeah. So, no, that would be a really interesting color scheme. I do wonder if they would go for essentially a second black kit. So I'm wondering, which color would be dominant. But that in itself may be a curveball. So, I'm just very curious at this point. I have my fingers crossed. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but I think I said from the beginning I would like it if this kit were unique, not boring, and if there's some meaning attached to it, because they said they're going to announce it at the Civic Center, which I also thought was a very interesting detail. It's something that it seems like I would like anyway.
Right. And it's going to be on June 17th. There's going to be a live stream as well. And speaking of live, everyone, we've forgot to mention that, yes, we are filming at Marc's place, so you get the sweet, sweet sounds of the cars nearby and nature and everything. But you know what? We decided to mix it up a little bit, and yeah, we might mix it up for a while until we figure out a new studio setting. But let's move on from that, and Ezequiel Barco is with the Argentina U23s. He scored a penalty, a really decent penalty at that. He's not a penalty merchant, but he definitely scores a lot of penalties.
Right,
in a sense. Yeah. But, it's one of those. They came back late, and it was eventually a 2-1 win against Denmark for the U23s. And they will take on Saudi Arabia on Friday. And full disclosure, we are filming this on a Thursday, so we don't know the score yet. But Josef Martinez, he also appeared for Venezuela. And, it was during the World Cup qualifiers. And, he did put the ball in the back of the net, but it was ruled, just a disallowed goal.
Very, very nice disallowed goal. It still counts in my heart, but, I mean, the way, if you haven't, I would suggest looking it up, because he essentially traps the ball and turns, splitting defenders, takes a good low shot to the keeper's left with his left foot, and so it's just, it looked very natural. It was ruled out because they said trapped with his arm a little bit, so I think a little unfortunate, but also signs of old Joseph, which I think is the most important thing. So
right.
Very, very happy to see that.
Yeah, anytime he can put the ball in the back of the net, I think that's when you start to see him build a lot of confidence and that swagger that we need from Josef Martinez. But Venezuela, they lost 3-1 to Bolivia last Thursday, and they drew 0-0 against Uruguay. But, he played 79 minutes against Uruguay, and so, he's building up that match fitness, which is really key. But, it's they will play in the Copa America, and that's starting Sunday, and that's versus Brazil to start, and it'll be kind of the rest of the month, so that's a little bit above, a little bit of a bummer, I think, for sure. But moving on from that, LA United, they have appointed a new academy director to replace Tony Annan, and his name is Matt Laurie. He has been in the system for a minute. He has been in the team since the inaugural season in 2016 of July as a head coach for the U12s. before he was promoted to the U15s and the U19s in 2020. And so, yeah, he served as the academy manager since January of 2019. So, well received in terms of a lot of the people around the club think that he is a good fit for the role. He is a go-getter and a guy that, they promoted from within. So
I think I like seeing that, the promotion from within, the fact that he's coached at these various levels before coming up. So that means he's going to be familiar with a lot of these kids coming through, especially at the point where they're breaking through to the first team, essentially. So I think that continuity at that level makes a lot of sense. And so, I think that's smart by Atlanta United, and I certainly wish him luck.
Right. And so, Omar Jaroon, he will take over for Laurie at his position with the U13s, along with Kevin Kratz. Our old friend Kevin Kratz is, not only did he return back into the club, but now he is, given a little bit more of just more and more kind of, mainstay within the team, so that's good. But anyway, moving on from that, LA United 2, they've appointed a new head coach, and that is Jack Collison, a former Hammer, a West Ham player. But definitely, if you had watched pretty much this past decade of West Ham, you would be very familiar with Jack Collison. And he's a guy that has been within the LA United setup since 2019. He's been the U17 coach since then. He's got all of his badges, and so another promotion from within in that sense. When Tony Annan was pretty much pulling double duty, triple duty, it's a lot, and thankfully they've split up that, and since he's moved on. But in his steed, in pretty much maybe not in his steed, but Henry Apollo, unfortunately, he has left the club for other opportunities. I think I would have loved to see actually Apollo maybe get a chance, maybe something in the team, some sort of setup, but unfortunately he moves on. I think Felipe Cardenas did tweet on him and kind of wondering if he would be someone that they would look at. Hopefully he was at least interviewed, and that will go a long way. I feel like if there was only one person interviewed, I will have my problems with this, because that's not good enough if that's the recruitment process. But anyway, moving on from that, LA United have signed another player that is a homegrown, but also a player that moved on a little bit from the academy, played in college. And it's basically Bryce Washington, a 22-year-old defender, a guy that receives great marks across the board. He played at Washington. He is signed through the 2022 season with options through 2025. So it's someone that if maybe a Miles Robinson gets moved on or something, then you have more guys that are not only familiar with the system, but kind of hungry, kind of pretty proven at the collegiate level. So.
Bryce Washington, particularly senior year at Pittsburgh, he was a key figure in one of their best seasons ever. So they made a deep run in the NCAA tournament. They were undefeated in the regular season up until the ACC tournament. So having that kind of impact player, and then he's almost roundly described as a leader type of character. And certainly, I think if you're looking for somebody who can, in the mold of a Miles Robinson, certainly you would look at that aspect as well. So, I think it's fairly exciting. I mean, it seems like we have a lot of good young defenders in the system right now, or at least breaking through, like a George Campbell, and Jack Bauer that we drafted as well. So, be curious to see who shakes out and what these players become, because I think we've seen in recent years at the collegiate level, at least players who play at the collegiate level still have their place in terms of breaking through the MLS and possibly greater. For an example, like Daryl DK.
Right.
So,
yeah, very true. So hopefully he does shake out to be someone important for us going forward. But welcome back, Bryce Washington. But moving on to LA United 2, they've played a bunch of games in the time that we haven't had an episode, really. And, so they defeated Louisville City 1-0, and Aiden McFadden can't stop scoring. And, yeah, as a right back, I mean, he's got a bunch of goals. It's, turning a lot of heads, I feel like. There's a lot of people that are kind of wondering if he's going to get a shout for the first team now. I mean, we could use some goals, especially from defenders.
Yeah, I mean, he plays right back as well. I mean, if Ronald Hernandez isn't going to get a look,
we have a guy that, I mean, he essentially, and pardon the plane that's flying over, but
might be a helicopter. Oh yeah, sure is.
But either way, McFadden, he has been an attacking midfielder at the collegiate level, and so him playing as a right back was interesting to start, but I mean he's killing it, and the score lines have been, I think, favorable to the defense as well. That they're not just looking outright, just getting demolished in that sense. 1-0 win against Louisville City, and then played another match, Sporting KC 2. So the 2s against the 2s, they drew 2-2. And so basically Coleman Gannon, he notched his second goal of the season, and then Captain Bradley Camden Fiwo, he notched his second goal of the season, or he secured his first goal of the season. And so, it's been kind of a really hot start for Atlanta United too.
Yeah.
They are second in USL in the Eastern Division, so it's not too bad from them. There have been people online that have been saying the 2s have looked better than the first team squad, but let's just pump the brakes on that. It's a different level.
We don't need to go there, but it is very encouraging. I mean, if the 2s make it to the postseason, whatever that format is now, I mean, that would represent a lot of progress. And I think I would like to see a little bit of balance between the results and the players being brought through. I mean, certainly I think the focus should be on the players brought through.
Yes.
But if they can taste success at that level, that can only help.
Yeah, it definitely can translate for sure. But they next play Memphis 901 on June 16, so they also have a little bit of an interlull sort of as well. Yes. Alec Can and Aiden McFadden, they both made the USL Team of the Week. So congrats to both of them. Alec Can has been killing it.
Yeah.
He made a bunch of saves this past week and saved a penalty. Has looked just very, very sharp since his return. And so, he's a guy that's just so solid as a backup, and it's great to see him kind of be able to integrate himself back into playing time. But anyway, moving on from that, and the last bit of news, congrats to the Almi Roans. They have birthed their child, and yes, Miggy, his child Francesca, or Francesco, yes.
Okay.
Either way, we need to sign them up.
Right, yeah. Go ahead and get them in the academy.
Right. The U under ones,
right.
Yep, let's just go ahead and get him into the side.
Yeah. Why waste any time?
Right. Why waste any time? Although he I think Newcastle might have some say on it.
Yeah.
Either way.
For now.
Yeah, for now. But I think he's got to remember where he's come from.
Yeah.
And maybe Lunus might have something to say about
that. Yeah, I know. I
too,
was gonna say.
But whatever.
We fit in there somewhere.
Exactly. So Miggy, don't forget us. Anyway, so that does it for the news, and let's move on into the mailbag. And by the way, yes, we have a puppy that is chilling with us while we're doing this episode. So if you've heard a little bit of
growling
or noises, that's what it is. But her name is Leia. She is adorable. Maybe we might grace you with her presence on camera in a second. But anyway, let's move on to the mailbag, and you guys send in these questions through IG story. Please continue to do so, and we might answer your question in the future. But first question comes from Tacos de Cuy. If Josef is fully fit all season and doesn't produce, will it be time to depart ways? I think this is a salacious question. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I guess what I find interesting about this question is the suggestion that he isn't producing, I mean, is he producing to the levels, pre-injury? No. But that's not all his fault. I mean, a lot of that has to come down to service, I think. If you look at Josef specifically, particularly in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think he's looking like his old self. So,
He's trying shit. He's definitely looking angrier, hungrier.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think the snap decisions, the kind of fox in the box kind of play that we're familiar with from him, we're starting to see that. So, for me, it's not really about Josef's play right now in terms of the team improving. I think the rest of the team, the build-up play and all that needs to improve. I think we need one or two other attackers to step up in order for the team to continue getting positive results and really wins. So, I'm just not there. I'm just not there in terms of, like, we worried about Josef or wondering if we should get rid of him.
Right. I think maybe we'll assess maybe after next season if the production isn't quite at maybe 2018, 2019 levels. But I think largely on a whole, we just need to make sure he's got a proper backup.
Yeah.
And that's more key, so that he's not out there overstretched and run down into the ground. Where, I mean, Josef, as brilliant and as superhuman as he is, he still is human. Right. So, anyway, moving on from that, official Chris 3 asks, do you think Josef will play in the AllStar Game? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a minute before that will happen, and so there might be some time that he misses as well. I'm not sure that he might be a representative. What do you think?
Yeah, it's also the midweek thing. They don't get a week off for the All-Star Game like other leagues, which I think is a little I mean, like, I think you're handicapping the All-Star Game at that point. I think there was 1 year Zlatan didn't participate.
Right.
Because of that, the travel and all that. So, I think that Josef, I mean, I don't know what he'll do. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if he opts to just rest, sit that one out, because he's been before, So, I mean, like, I think he might make it based on the votes, but will he actually go? I have my doubts.
Right. And, I think, on the current form, obviously it's still early days.
Right.
Yeah, you might see a Miles Robinson. You might see Diego Sosa.
Oh.
Those are the type of players, I think, probably that are very much more of our shoe-ins.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on from that, Cedric0328 asks, why can't Lennon take 1v1? He always plays back.
Yeah, I just don't think that's his style. I think he's more of a touchline winger, if he's a winger. I mean, like, he's one of those hybrid wingers / right backs. He's like that perfect candidate for wing back, essentially. But in terms of taking players on, I'm not sure that was ever really a strength in his game. To me, what I want to see him continue to improve on is his crossing. And I think it's there to a degree. It's not Julian Gressel levels, of course, but I think he should continue getting into those good crossing positions and finding Josef and others, because to me that's his strength.
Right. Yeah, I think he's he excels at finding the space, whether he dribbles at players or not. And so I think it's not about him just taking guys on 1v1. Although, he's got some capacity to do that, but it's not like for someone on the team, maybe like a Jake Mulroney, where he's always constantly running at guys, or maybe a Marcelino Moreno, where that's their style. Lennon, I mean, I understand, if you're either a fullback or a center back, you're going to sometimes play backwards. It's kind of part of it, and especially when they're still kind of learning Gabriel Heinze's system. So I think that's more so why that's happening. But moving on from that, Chambray Poppy asks, the fan base seems so negative. What can the team do or show to change that?
To be honest with you, I think the fan base has been worse. You know what I mean? I think right now, most of the fan base is still, understanding, picking out the positives. At least, that's with the people I interact with. I can't speak for everybody, of course. But the general tenor, I feel like, is still reserving judgment a bit. I think there was a lot of optimism coming out of the draw with Nashville. I think there was recognition that the performance was better. Those goals were nice. They didn't hold on, So that's actually different from what we've seen so far this season. So, it's just one of those things where, again, haven't quite put it together yet, but it's still pretty early, And so now we're getting into summer. I think now we're starting to see the signs of the teams improving. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, I mean, I'll temper both of those in terms of you might have interacted with a lot of positive people. I see the whole breadth of it, which a lot of these questions were pretty negative, and so there is that as well. I think a lot of it stems from how poor last year was. And so you have kind of that almost hangover, that negativity hangover that kind of is brought over where, you know, we haven't had a just brilliant run of results where it's 3 points after 3 points after 3 points. So, you know, there is going to be, I think, and rightfully so, some justification of criticism. So, you know, I think the team just has to start putting it together, put a good run of results together, maybe an undefeated streak with a lot of wins in it, I think would start to, I think, make some fans feel a lot better.
Yeah.
But, next question comes from D. Borges99. Due to Copa America, how many games Josef will be out?
Look at that schedule, it's probably at least 4. And I mean, the schedule's pretty congested, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was even 5 or 6, you know, considering that he'll probably need rest days, let's say, coming out of the tournament, depending on how much he plays.
Because coming back, we'll play against Philly, we'll play against NYCFC, we'll play against New York Rebels, and if Venezuela is still in it, Chicago Fire, and so there is the possibility, that you know, between the pretty much 2 weeks that those games are, that he will miss maybe 3 to 4, and then possibly even more if they continue to advance.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, I don't know, like, we're gonna see a lot of Kubo Torres.
Yeah,
oh man, so maybe Eric Lopez maybe can start to.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping in the short term, but
Jackson Conway.
Some
others sign another player.
I think I'm team sign another player. You know.
Yeah, because unproven guys, I'm not sure we want to rely on that, and then also, I mean, proven to not score goals guy. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to fix that.
Yeah.
So anyway, last question. Sheev77, do you think this team will finish 1 to 4 in the playoffs this year?
So I don't see LA United finishing first, probably not second. I think right now, based on what I've seen, I think third is more realistic, or maybe even 4. I think at this moment I would bet on fourth. I think third is still within the realm of possibility, depending on how other teams, you know, how their form shakes out. But yeah, I just don't see us finishing at the top of this season. I mean, like they would either have to be like a huge signing or just like a drastic turnaround of form, a combination of both, really. So yeah.
I think what I said on our season preview, I had them finishing pretty high, but I think, yeah, the way it's shaking out so far, I agree with you. It's somewhere, 3, maybe 6, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, we have to score goals, and right now we have not been doing that from the run of play very well.
Right.
And so a lot of the guys need to step up and continue to step up. So, yeah, as of right now, somewhere in there, but probably tops, maybe third. But that does it for the mailbag and pretty much the entire show, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, which former five-stripe not named Miguel Miron would you bring back this summer? Let us know in the comments below. Do you have someone that you might kind of preview and tease that decision with? I know I'm putting you completely on the spot, but...
I mean, look at our center back signings since we've let Perez go.
Oh,
acting up.
Yeah,
all
and
right,
we got the poopy acting up for show, wilding up, but all good. But let's bring her on the show anyway and close it out with Leia. We teased her long enough, but Leia, yes. Oh, look at these eyes, yes.
Kisses?
So anyway, guys, that does it for the show. And for Mark, I'm AJ. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.